Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway Flip Side. My name is Mary.
And my name is Luke.
Welcome to the Comment podcast.
Yeah, so I guess if anyone missed the announcement, I don't know how you could have, but maybe you did. Totally Schway Flip Side is now going to be the podcast where we talk about what our viewers say in relation to our episodes of Totally Schway, a podcast about the DC animated universe.
Yeah.
We might also do the odd special every now and then. Like, let's say when Cape Crusader Season 2 comes out, we might do a series of Cape Crusader specials. Maybe.
I should have actually, you know how people do prenups and postnups? When Cape Crusader came out, you got it early.
Yeah.
Thankfully, lovely, grateful. But I was also working at 5. I would be getting up at 3:50 every morning so I could go to work at 6. And then I would come home and we would do loads of the podcast and everything. I should have put that in a post note, if never ever again. Not doing that, as in not doing 2 jobs, essentially 2 jobs, because I have to admit, I'm going to be honest. I'm. It's not that I'm not honest about this, but I was moody, to say the least.
Yeah.
I swore a lot, and it was probably a little bit at Luke.
90% towards me.
No, about 32%. Yeah. So, shall we get to the comments?
Yes, okay. So these are comments that were on our last episode of Totally Schway, a podcast about the DC animated universe that is on Mary's channel now, the channel you're listening to it on.
Yeah.
And the topic was the question, the faceless conspiracy theorist member of the Justice League. So
Yes.
The first comment we have is from Evangelos Voskolos, who says, I don't like he wasn't utilised that much in JLU Season 3. In Seasons 1 and 2, with Cadmus, he became one of the most important characters, and in 3, they just dropped him. I heard that the writers never really planned for a Season 3, but still. Yeah, I mean, that's what I heard as well. That's why Epilogue at the end of the second season wraps up so nicely with references to Batman Beyond, and that final moment with Batman flying through the city, going up through the clouds past the police in the it's not a helicopter, it's the new flying police vehicle, and there's a policeman goes, oh, did you see that? It's Kevin Conroy voicing him. It mirrors the opening of On Leather Wings, but in reverse.
I get quite emotional when I watch Epilogue because I just wish there were more. It's not often that a show ends that I'm like, yeah, I want more.
Well, there were more episodes after Epilogue, and that was kind of the point. But
I mean, even when I think of Epilogue, because Epilogue to me is an ending to the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you think of it that way.
Yeah, it feels like the final. It should have been the final episode after Alive, but they did it earlier on because they thought they were finishing earlier on. But hey, we can't be too upset about getting extra season.
Upset.
No.
But Epilogue was such a great episode. And the question is not in it?
No, he's not.
No, I didn't think
he's not. But yes, thank you for your comment. So we'll move on to the next comment from, I believe is a new commenter, it's Bacon Labs. I'm sure I'd remember a name like that. And they say, the question is, who is the question? No. The correct answer is no. I don't really have anything to add to that.
I think that's a good comment. Did I heart it?
Yes, you did. The next comment, another new commenter on the show, but I've seen his comments. I assume it's
on the show. I apologize. On the podcast.
It's the same thing. Tomato.
If Warner Brothers wants to work with me, my boss would be very open to me working with Warner Brothers.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make is it's a familiar name, but I believe is that this is their first time leaving a comment on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, calling Ditko odd is a funny way of saying he was a Randian that used Mr. A and the question as objectivist mouthpieces. Yes, well, listen. Steve Ditko brought a lot of joy to people's lives, and he's dead. And I try not to besmirch dead people as much as possible. So you can probably tell I was like, how can I describe Steve Ditko without sounding like I'm slagging him off?
What's the R word?
Randian.
What does that mean?
That Steve Ditko followed the beliefs of Ayn Rand, who was a Russian author. I believe she was Russian American anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what's his name from BioShock is a Randian as well.
I love it.
I've completely forgotten his name. It's just left my mind. The guy who founded the city at the bottom of the sea, Rapture. The guy who founded Rapture. Yeah, I don't know why the name has left me, but it has.
It will at 3 o'clock in the morning when Gilgamesh wakes you up. Row, row.
Yeah, and I'll sit up and go, oh, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Keep thinking of Sander Cohen, but that was the actor in there.
Yeah.
Or Sander Cohen, excuse me. Anyway, I've gone off on a massive tangent. To continue Musa the 14's comment, who says, O'Neill's swerve into Zen Master was probably a manner of maintaining the philosophical musings, but without the rancid perspective. Yes, I think that's probably true. With that being said, the DCAU made a very fun reinterpretation that allows for a character whose primary skill set is investigation without stepping on the toes of Batman, by making it an obsession with making connections that gives him a broader and more obscure set of information to draw from. He's also just really cool, and it really speaks to the caliber of his character that he is willing to murder Luthor to save the soul of Superman and the Justice League. He was a real one for that. Amen. Anything to add, Mary?
No, not really.
Okay. Next we have Big Mikey P's essay, who says, shorter video than expected, reads
Andrew
descriptions. Ryan. Andrew Ryan, thank you. Yes, would you kindly, etc. He says, shorter video than expected, reads description. Well, Big Mikey P, if you'd listened to the announcements that we made multiple times, you'd know that the episode was going to be shorter. I think he's just exposed himself as a fake fan, Mary.
I do not think he's a fake. I don't think he's fake at all.
I'm kidding. Anyway, so to continue his modest... Actually, it's a fairly modest comment for him.
Is he okay?
Maybe. Well, it's a shorter episode, so there's less for him to comment on. At 1 minute and 14 seconds... And Western animation and novels and video games and Star Wars Legends and occasional music and comics. I wonder if there'll be an Injustice 3 still. Poor waste of money having to loot box Injustice 2 for that trivial trophy. It was in-game currency that you earned by playing. You couldn't buy it. So no money was wasted. Don't worry.
I'm not going to talk about Rock Band, though.
It wasn't a waste buying those Rock Band tracks. We had a lot of fun with that in the day. Anyway. 6 minutes and 39 seconds, an envious thing considering grey morality can become tiring, if not boring, especially in this day and age. Suffice to say, the question is adapted well in Justice League Unlimited. 9 minutes and 49 seconds. Isn't that half the plotline for the upcoming Lanterns DC series? 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Heard it's Ward, not sidekick. Either way, the hypocrite, anti-war, sex fiend hippies must have hated that tale. I wish I knew what he was referring to when he puts the timestamps in. I guess I could always click on them, but who's got time for that? 11 minutes and 40 seconds, not Wildcat from the Justice Society of America. In a sense, Denny O'Neil is the real daddy of the question. Not that surprising, but not at all. 14 minutes, I associate that more with Phineas and Ferb, and that Disney show ain't sinister. 15 minutes, 52 seconds, fell in love again. What am I going to tell my friends, tell all my friends? This is a song, by the way, I assume. It just happened. You walked in my door. Now I don't want to be alone no more. Oops, I've done it. Told you how I feel. Just hope this time that our love is real. I swear we need a full release version of that. Oh, it's the song that the question was singing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I was waiting for you to get that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm getting old now. It takes me a little while for my brain to remember things like who Andrew Ryan is. It's well past midday. It's getting into the evening. I swear we need a full release version of that corporate corporate pre-packaged pop that us kids in the question like these days. Heck, the only thing relatably missing is him being an uncloseted fan of women's literature like Little Women and shows that look like Bewitched and the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Oh yeah, can't overlook question cross Huntress, especially the Cadmus computer hacking incident where the guards didn't stand a chance. So Luke, no mention of the non-canon, the Batman and Robin Adventures tie-in comic featuring the Huntress's origins. Well, that episode of the podcast wasn't about the Huntress, and the very simple answer to that is it's not a contradiction, because in the episode it was the question who was recounting his understanding of Huntress's origin.
What?
No, he's just saying, why did the comic contradict what happened in Justice League? Well, the comic came out first, but you can get around it by saying that the Huntress's origin that was shown was the question telling it as he understood it to take place. That might not have been how it went.
Yeah, because that's a really good way of thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have a different,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Every story has two, whatever. What is the phrase?
I don't know. I can't think.
So it's plausible.
Yeah, it is. And that also covers his question about the Batman Adventures Continue guest appearance where Jazzman was there as well. Question just didn't know that Jazzman was there and he played the piano while parents were killed. That's all. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Yeah. 23 minutes and 4 seconds. Huntress should have offed the boy. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He became one of Terry McGinnis's brain trust psychic foes in Batman Beyond. Overall, the guy is one true ensemble Dark Horse character, equal to the likes of fellow DCAU characters Amazo, Mr. Mxyzptlk, and maybe Veronica Vreeland. 26 minutes and 35 seconds. Of course, that got through the censors, because no one is going to get choked to death. Yeah, right. If only we got Hugo Strange and not Dr. Moon to interrogate the question, but, well, we may have gotten a weak Batgirl versus an unexplained evil again man-bat with an army of men-bats. I prefer man-bats to men-bats. Script for Doubleday in return. So we'll take what we can get. 29 minutes and 4 seconds. Don't care if Professor Milo's a loser. Continuity cavalcades are still entertaining for sequel crossover shows. 31 minutes and 44 seconds. Why not have the question get future isekai'd for a while to a DCAU canon Legion of Superheroes show featuring Supergirl and Brainiac 5? If not that, why not a Season 4 continuation of Superman the Animated Series, particularly one set before Justice League, and thus fleshes out how things led to that show? Was expecting why the plot twist of epilogue is brilliant and why people are wrong in hating it. Well, not everybody hates it, Big Mikey P. There are actually quite a lot of people that do enjoy it. I think I enjoy it overall. I get it changes the message of Batman Beyond, but it's still a good message nonetheless. But yes, thank you for your comment. That was much more manageable this time, I guess. Who would have known that having a 35-minute podcast would lead to a much shorter comment for Big Mikey P? Should have done it years ago.
No, because how am I going to release the book or the tome of Michael's comments?
Good question.
I don't have enough at the moment.
Well, I'll give it 2 more weeks and we'll probably have enough.
I want it to be like, War and Peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be better than that.
Okay.
Bigger, better.
But yes, anyway, new comment. Next is None of Your Beeswax, which is a great display name. I like it very much. And their comment is the antithesis of Big Mikey P's. They simply say, engagement.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next, we have regular commenter Ryan Jones, who says, question, what would your reaction be if the actors that were in the Adam West Batman TV show got resurrected back to life to do an animated revival, I assume you mean, of the 60s Batman show? I'd be like, Jesus Christ, you've come back from the dead. Why are you doing a cartoon?
Okay, I'm going to be honest.
Go on.
I'm not going to ask if I can be honest. I'm just going to be honest. I did not like that show. The only thing I think I liked about that show, and you know what I'm going to say? Because she's
Julie Newmar.
Okay, there's 2 things.
Eartha Kitt.
Yes. Eartha Kitt was the best thing about that particular Batman show, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not, I love camp, but a different type of camp, and that was just too, it wasn't dark enough for me.
He has another question. He says, if you were framed for a crime you didn't commit and got put in Arkham, what would your cellmate be? And choose carefully because you will be there for a week. That's a long time it will take for Batman to prove your innocence.
Um, I I could be anybody's except for that ventriloquist.
They wouldn't mix
Let's see.
genders, Mary, so you'd have to be with a
Oh.
female character.
Yeah, I think I could be with any of them, but I would probably say Celine and Kyle.
She doesn't go to Arkham. She's not crazy.
Oh, oh yeah, she's not a student.
Yeah. So who else? Who else?
As much as I love Harley Quinn, I think that I would be like, please, girl, just sit down with me right now, and we are going to talk about what love is, and that is not love.
Yeah.
um, Baby doll, I would be like, just maybe watch a different show. Um, what is another?
You've got too many allergies to be with poison ivy.
Yeah, that says something today because I had an allergic reaction today. Um, maybe I'm trying to look at the thing in there.
What about someone like Magpie?
Probably not.
She'd get on your nerves.
Yeah.
Although she's not in the DCAU, so.
If I had to choose, I think. I just want to choose one of the guys because I know like they would be like, meh. Let's say Harley.
Okay.
So I can try to tell her, like, try to get to her, be like, girl.
Okay.
The Joker is dumb. He played great. It's a great character, but for her.
Well, you just ruined my choice. I can't pick the Joker. I wouldn't hang out with the Joker. No.
Who would you pick?
Probably Two-Face. He'd be easiest to get along with.
Well.
At least half the time, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to continue Ryan's comment. It says, boy, do I feel like an idiot for giving out my request for Totally Schway Flip Side in the last episode of Totally Schway Flip Side. I hope you don't think less of me.
Never.
Impossible. We wouldn't do that. There, my comment on the PSA episode of Totally Schway. I do agree that you need a good balance of teaching kids good life lessons without sounding too preachy in cartoon shows. Do agree that you should be sending Batman's mentally unwell villains somewhere to get help, but can it be somewhere more successful than Arkham? Especially since Arkham is very corrupt. Since you talk about Ace the Bat Hound, I have something to tell you that is related to Ace. At a park near where I used to live, people in camper vans show up and make sure that anyone couldn't go to the park for the whole of summer. But that's not the worst thing that happened. The worst thing, that they hosted a dog fight.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke knows how I feel about this.
To entertain their sick minds, and the police came and arrested them. And the next day, when the camper vans left, all that was left was it was a dead dog's body. He didn't see it, but he heard about it, and it angers him. Don't worry, Mary, I'll also mention my teachers in my Oscar speech. Good, don't ever forget them. I don't mean to put these words in the last episode. I must have mistaken the Fantastic Four episode of Flipside for the last episode of this podcast. I would be surprised if you were watching Lois and Clark in the next episode, because you know who plays Superman in that show. Yeah, well.
You know what I would have done in that situation if I knew for a fact that there was a dog fight happening? My ass would be in there taking those dogs. I would have me two, however many dogs there, they would be my new children. Because that to me it shows how small of a human being you are if you watch animals fight each other and you make them do that. And people like that don't deserve our time. So I wouldn't even speak to them. I would go there. The white woman in me would pop off and become Karen. And I'd be like, that's my dog now. And the money that you're making here, you're not making it now because these dogs are coming home with me. And by the way, I'm taping this, putting it on the internet, and your ass is going to be embarrassed. And I'm going to show your kids this, and I'm going to send it to their school. I can ruin someone's life very easily if you mess with animals. And that's what I'll say about that.
And that's why Mary doesn't like cricket. That was a joke from Mighty Boosh.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. I'm dating myself.
Luke told me yesterday that I didn't get a lot of his jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't get a lot of jokes to begin with, but I don't know, whatever.
Yes, but thank you for your comment, Ryan.
Yes, thank you.
Right, next we have Glitchonics, who is a new commenter, I believe, and they say, the question has grown to be one of my favourite heroes. I just like how he's more sarcastic and light-hearted, meaning he cracks jokes on the regular, sometimes not on purpose, admittedly. I recently ordered a collection of Question comics off of Amazon. I'm looking forward to getting them. Oh, I hope they're the Denny O'Neil ones with, what's his name? Dennis. I can't remember his name.
Is that on DC Infinite?
Yeah, they're on there. Can't remember who drew those Question comics. It was Dennis something. I recall that
I'm gonna
much.
call them right now.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I have everyone's phone number.
Hello? Is that Jim Lee? Jim Lee, who drew the 80s Question comics? I need you to tell me. Yes, I'll wait.
No. I'm gonna tell them that you don't remember.
Yeah, I know.
It should be
Dennis. Oh, I want to say Dennis Cohen, but I don't think that's his name. Oh, this is annoying me. Anyway, Mary's going to Google it, and I'm
looking at something else.
Oh, she's looking at something else on her phone. She can't help me out now. But it doesn't matter. Someone will leave a comment explaining who it was, and the world will be right again. But yes, thank you for your comment, Glitchonics. So next we have David Carney. Do you know what I should probably do, actually? I should probably read these comments before we do the podcast, and then I can actually prepare an answer for people rather than relying on stuff off the top of my head.
Dennis Cohen?
Oh, his name was Dennis Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Dennis O'Neil?
Yeah, I know Denny O'Neil. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Rick Magyar? Cooler
Rick
name than mine.
I don't know Rick Magyar. I knew Bill Sienkiewicz did a cool cover. Yes, Bill Sienkiewicz, he did the cool covers.
Cooler names than mine.
Yes, there's a fun issue of the Question comic where the Riddler returns after he hadn't been used in the comics for decades because of the Batman TV series, because he was so closely associated with that. DC were practically allergic to using him. And Denny O'Neil writes this script where the Riddler gets out of prison and he's let out early because he's such a joke. And like Commissioner Gordon says to him, like, you should just retire. What the hell's wrong with you? And he ends up going on would I call it a rampage? He's on like a bus with a crazy woman, and they kind of hold the bus hostage. That was quite a good comic. I haven't read it in a long time. It's when I did the Riddler video for on my channel, which would have been about 2 years ago now, probably, maybe even longer. But anyway, I've massively diverted there. I need to get back to David Carney's comment, because I started it and I didn't even complete the first sentence. Because he says, "Hi Mary and Luke, hope you both had a good week. Jeffrey Combs played multiple parts in Star Trek. In Deep Space Nine he played Brunt and Weyun. Both characters appeared in the same episode. I didn't recognise him at first as Ferengi Weyun. Also played Shan in Star Trek Enterprise. Why did the question not have a sidekick called the answer? That is a wonderful question. They should have called Renee Montoya that rather than making her the second question. Or was she technically the third question? Anyway, doesn't matter. Have a good week, all.
You too.
Yes, you too. Thank you very much. Next, I've got Screen Wiper, who says there is a lot in the chicken news this fortnight, and to make sure Luke and Mary are up to date, here's the news from the 2nd of August today. Done day by day in the replies, as YouTube seems to think doing it all in one comment is too long.
I have...
He's posted them as multiple comments, so it should be okay.
An email, but I'd like to... Because I know his name, by the way. I'm just going to put his name in.
Yes, so I've got the news for the 2nd of August, the 16th of August. Oh my good God, there's a lot here. Yes, this is long. I'll do it, but it's long. Oh, 17th of August is also long, and then the 23rd of August, which is actually today, isn't it? So then that means we'll be 100% up to date. Okay, here we go. We're going to do it.
So I have... the
second. Yeah, I've got it.
Everything there?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Saturday, 2nd of August. For new listeners, the chicken news is something that Screen Wiper provides.
And I look forward to.
Yes, he rescues chickens, factory chickens, and nurses them to good health and gives them good lives in his home in Wales.
And they become like that little thing in my life where I'm like, I need to know what's going on.
And there are... Well, there are 4 of them?
There's Betty.
Wilma. Pebbles.
Wait.
Doris,
yeah. Wilma's my favourite.
Yeah, there used to be Blue, but Blue is no longer with us. Anyway, Yes. So, Saturday, 2nd of August. Forgot to mention in the previous entry that shortly after the heatwave was over, Wilma and Betty stopped molting, or at least started molting much less. We're getting fewer feathers in the coop, providing me with free bedding. That works. Doris's post-hormone molting has stopped a while ago, and she has grown a whole new set of feathers now. Instead of having a brown neck and beige body anymore, she is now a burnt orange colour with a white ring around her neck like what Blue and Echo used to have, or like Wilma after she started her hormones until her molt this summer, where lots of neck feathers fell out. Mabel. Did we say Mabel?
Mabel is the pebbles. I don't. It's not. It's Wilma, Betty,
Mabel and Doris.
Mabel, and Doris.
Yeah.
It's because when I think of them, I always think of them like I still think of Blue when I think of the chickens because I still look at their pictures to make when I'm in a bad mood and I want to be happy again.
And as we mentioned at the start, it's been a long day. I didn't actually think we were going to record the podcast this late in the day. I thought either we were going to do it, earlier today or first thing on Sunday morning, and then I'd just get it out as soon as possible.
We're going for a walk tomorrow.
Yeah, so Mary's like, "Oh yeah, it's late in the day. Let's just record it now. It'll be fine."
It's 5 p.m.
Well, I've been up since 3 a.m., so it feels like in the middle of the night to me.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I've actually lost my place in this comment now, and I don't know where I was. Anyway, it was with the neck feathers falling out, wasn't it? Yeah. Mabel has started more often to ask me to open the feeder for her when I go into the aviary to muck it out. It's not because she cannot use it or anything. I think it's just something she wants to do to bond with me. A little tradition in a shared activity. Pretty sweet, really. The hens aren't putting on weight yet, but they don't seem to be losing weight anymore, at least. I will update this comment at a later date after the new coop arrives and is built. It will have an automatic door that will open at sunrise and close at sunset all by itself. The idea is to improve their safety and my social life. I hope there aren't too many hijinks getting the hens used to the new coop. Spoilers, there will be hijinks.
By the way, right here, we are going to insert a photo of the coop and some of the chickens.
Okay, you have to send it to me then.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
The coop's so cool.
So then the update on the 16th of August is I wanted to write the chicken news on Thursday, so it was all done in time, even if Luke and Mary record the episode on Friday morning. But no, life wouldn't let me. You'll see why. Firstly, about a week ago, Doris the little workaholic decided for the second time this summer to come out of retirement. Yes, she is laying eggs again. However, these happen to be probably the best quality eggs she has ever laid. The texture of the shells, is like marble. I was worried she'd overdo it, but after 4 days she took a day off. I was worried she had salpingitis and would get egg-bound, but the next day she laid again. Is she learning from Mabel and actually pacing herself now? Time will tell. But while she is laying safe eggs and laying them safely, I am happy for her to continue. She does seem proud of herself. I still got it, she seems to say. So the little sanctuary has 2 egg layers again. Second, haven't seen a rat for days, almost a week, but I have smelt dead body stench again. Oh dear. And pinpointed it down to those high schoolers that keep coming round to pet the chicken. No, I'm joking. He hasn't murdered anyone. Pinpointed it down from the trees that I own and grow on the border between mine and next door's garden. These trees for me are behind a wooden fence to keep animals in or out, so I could not remove it. Thankfully, though, some guy probably hired by the tenants rather than the landlord, as he speaks the same Slavic language as the tenants, came over and spent a couple of days cutting down all the overgrown grass in which the rats were nesting. Kind of sucks for the bees and butterflies. There were some lovely wildflowers in there, but the reason why I'm thankful is because when I trimmed the neighbour's side of the trees, I think he took the rat corpse, perhaps corpses, away. The smell suddenly weakened massively after his second day of work, and now it's gone. Ever since that smell started, I haven't seen a rat, so I guess they're all poisoned and dead, or the last remaining rat was smart enough to figure out something was killing them, and he or she should run away and never return, especially after a big bit of their habitat was destroyed. Or the neighbour's cat got them. It has been hot, so the neighbours have had more open windows, so the cat, who I think is named Kuka or something similar, has been escaping more lately. The day before yesterday, she came into my garden and tried to crawl up my garden path to the hens, but they, led by Betty, called me, and I chased her away. She made another attempt to get in, but again they, especially Betty and Doris, made a big noise, and she retreated before I even needed to come out. The reason why Betty was running things that day is our main story. Poor Wilma. Last episode may remember I was concerned about Betty and Wilma, especially Wilma not eating as much, especially in the mornings. For Wilma, this got worse. On Wednesday morning, I don't think she ate anything, only consuming her afternoon treats. That was the last time she ate well. Thursday morning, day before yesterday, day I wanted to write the chicken news, I found Wilma doing some creepy jerks and twitches with her neck. This reminded me very much of Pebbles and Blue shortly before they died. You may remember that their problem was a tumour, multiple tumours in Blue's case, blocking their digestive tract, causing their crops, a pouch between their mouth and stomach, to empty too slowly and fill with half-digested food, water and bile, which caused discomfort and these neck movements. I assume the same for Wilma, even though her crop was much less full, barely anything in it. I just assumed it was from Wilma knowing not to overfeed herself in this condition, perhaps even learning what happened to her foster sisters and foster mother. Wanting to give her soft foods that she enjoys, I got her to eat raspberry, went to the pet shop and got some live maggots. She chirped so happily when I gave her some. She ate as many as she could, but soon got too full, and the twitching jerking her neck again. Cancer cannot be cured in chickens easily, and treatment for cancers like this is just anti-inflammatories and painkiller. Try reducing the tumour's size and make eating more comfortable, and then hope it's enough. It wasn't enough. Next day, Wilma was feeling worse and weaker. Symptoms weren't adding up for the cancer hypothesis, though. I couldn't feel any distension in her guts. I groped the other hen's too for comparison, and Wilma felt the same. Nor did Wilma tell me it hurts when I was doing that. Her comb didn't go purple and floppy. If anything, it went a bit yellow. Wilma also didn't give herself the pooey bum of death. Long-time listeners and anyone who's had a hen with ovarian or gut cancer will know what that is. I could not afford Wilma to get any weaker, and I decided I couldn't be sure what I was dealing with, so not wanting to risk wasting time on the wrong treatment, I got Wilma booked in for the vet later that day. Vet couldn't find signs of cancer either. He did find eventually, though, a mass in her crop. He was able to move it around a lot, so much so that he suspected it could be a foreign body rather than a tumour growing from her body. With it in there stopping her eating, Wilma would starve, waste away and die. Only humane options were either emergency surgery or euthanasia immediately or very, very soon. Wilma had told me earlier on in the day, in both her attempts to eat and the way she spoke to me, that she wants to fight it and to try keep going, so I opted for the surgery. Putting birds under anaesthetic is risky, and they are notorious for dying on the operating table, so I was scared for her while she was being operated on, but thankfully she survived. The vet had removed a large abscess about the size of a walnut, shaped long and thin-ish but balled up. Some of the maggots Wilma had eaten earlier were stuck in its folds. It's gross, and I have it in a clear doggy bag for now. I took a photo if anyone wants to see. Or if anyone wants to see, let Screen Wiper know. It reminds me of the gristle strip you get on the side of a large steak. Maybe that's what it was. Seagulls and crows often drop food they've found or stolen, and when it lands in my garden, they're either too slow to get it back before the chickens get it, or too scared to even attempt it in the first place. Either way, it's gross, and I will have to throw it away before it stinks. Wilma is recovering from surgery and living in the house while she does so. She's on antibiotics to kill or prevent any infection. The same anti-inflammatory painkillers and liquid food supplement formula I'd already been giving her in the last couple of days. The creepy neck movements have stopped, her colour is pinker, there's less pain, and sadness in her eyes. Wilma is still in pain, though, and very tired, but she has a quiet enthusiasm about her. Recovery, if she recovers, is expected to take a week. I'm hoping she will be strong enough to go live in the aviary and coop again by Sunday evening, but we'll see. Wilma could still die soon, but her chances are decent. I will try her on solid foods again soon, starting with soft stuff like egg and raspberry, maybe live maggots, though I'd rather she eat those outside. One final story is the new chicken coop. Maybe this is the point to put in the image of the new chicken coop.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be the only story this week. Funny how that works out, isn't it? Or at least the main one, Wilma. I erected it last Saturday. Took all day because the instructions are poorly written and contained at least one diagram that didn't match what the text beneath it's talking about and depicts pieces that do not exist. I think my instructions used instructions for another coop in the company's range as a template, and they didn't change all of it over to fit. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. So basically, yeah, they used the wrong template, or an old template. It was baffling and infuriating at the time. The chickens were baffled and infuriated after it was built. While I built it, I had locked them down at the bottom of the garden for their safety, and when they saw the new coop standing where their old one used to be, they cried and wanted me to put everything back. But I said, no, this is how it is now. It was too late in the day to give them a decontamination bath, so I let them have one last night in their old coop rather than risk them getting mites in the new coop. Also, the night morning Doris resumed laying. They got their baths next morning and have been locked out of the old coop since. First night, even tried to sleep on top of the old coop, on the climbing chair, on the big perch, etc. But I marched them all inside one by one, starting with Wilma because she's their captain and sets an example. Then I did Betty, Doris, and Mabel in that order because that's how they rank in the pecking order. Wilma did come back out while I was marching Betty. I guess she thought she was going into solitary confinement at the time. Ironic that she is now quarantined away from the others as I write this. Second night, everyone had already learned to go in there except for Betty, who was being stubborn and grumpy and trying to sleep on top of the old coop. Third night, everyone was a good girl and went into the new coop to sleep. This night, I was also programmed. This was the night I programmed the robot to open and close the door for me at sunrise and sunset, respectively. Again, the instructions were not written without some nonsense that caused confusion and delay, but after a couple of nights I got it to work as intended, and the system has been working well since. I will now be less worried about oversleeping in the mornings or not getting home on time if I'm out in the evenings, because now I have the robot. Sunday the 17th of August. There is a box of layers pellets in Wilma's private pen, and last night she started showing interest in them. Didn't eat any, just pecked them and moved them around with her beak. She did the same thing this morning, so I decided to see if she was ready to eat solid food again, and she was. This is great, not just because it means she is regaining her health, but also because I won't have to pump as much food supplement formula down her throat like I'm making fragua. She started with crumbs of cheese, and then we shared a large egg laid by Doris. We had about half each. I tried mush again, but no, not interested. She seemed annoyed I had covered up the last traces of egg yolk with it. Tried yogurt. She had a bit and went to bed. It just isn't egg. Tried a pinch of seeds, which she ate fine, and a raspberry, which she ate with some difficulty but managed. Her neck and throat must be very sore. She was given more formula too, and then after the rest and making sure her wound was still clean, etc., I took Wilma outside to see the others. How well she's doing is inferred, but how she looks and how she behaves... By how she looks and how she behaves, But it is hard to compare her behaviour to normal when she isn't in a normal environment. Plus, she seems to be feeling a bit bored and restless. Wilma's was not allowed in the dirt pit, gravel pit or sand bath in order to keep her wound clean. The other hens were delighted to see her again and crowded her a bit when she first arrived, but Wilma was very clear about how she wanted space. Still very much in charge of the pack. She started sunbathing, and both Mabel and Betty tried to cooch with her, but she said no, though Betty was allowed a minute first. It was cute, but Wilma had to throw her off by the time I got the camera ready. I did a salad in the hen's hanging cage, and Wilma went ballistic on it. Sometimes she even booted all the other hens off and had it to herself, but she would let them come back and share it, especially Betty. Wilma ate as much of it as the rest of the pack combined. She had trouble swallowing bits at times, but would have a little break and then resume, seemingly good as new. She ate so much salad that her crop got huge at one point, and I was worried she'd break a stitch. Yeah, I know that feeling. I think this was painful for her. When the food went into her stomach and her crop went down, she felt better but tired. Doris and Mabel both had a break from laying eggs today. Hopefully they'll lay tomorrow, so I won't have to worry about egg bind. Betty was just chill, hoping to see Wilma, more used to commanding the younger hens without Wilma's help and losing her temper with them less. Hung out with me a lot while Wilma and I were outside. She was having one last night sleeping in the house and will hopefully be back in the garden full-time from tomorrow afternoon, but we'll see. Sorry, I just had to clear my throat for a moment there. Saturday the 23rd of August, the latest update. And this one is... It's quite long, but we'll get through it. Over the week, Wilma made some improvements in her health and medical condition. Monday the 18th, after I finished work, I took her into the garden for some supervised social time with the other hens, having eaten lots of salad the day before. Wilma had less hangry because of hungry, and shared the salad with the other hens and displayed far less aggression. We stayed out until bedtime. Wilma thought she was going to sleep in the coop and was disappointed when I said no. She wasn't ready, still had too much trouble swallowing, wasn't healed enough yet. Same for Tuesday night. Wilma was practically pissed off about sleeping in the house at that time, and I said she could go in the coop and then changed my mind. She was not ready. Nearly, though. Wednesday she was ready, and yet, even though she disliked sleeping in the house, come bedtime she came to my back door ready to come inside for bed. I let her in and gave her meds, which she hated, and so she decided she didn't want to be back in the house anymore and went back outside. Thankfully, she was ready to sleep in the coop. I went back out in the garden to watch her and make sure she went to bed safely in the coop. Before she went in, she looked at me as if to ask for permission to make sure it was okay to go in. I told her to go ahead, and she did. I also let her have access to the dirt pit, gravel pit, and sand bath again that day, and I was satisfied her wound is healed enough to not get an infection now. She practically buried herself in the dirt pit. Her skin must have felt so irritated from the lack of bathing. Next morning, Thursday, Wilma had a big lie-in, very tired from not sleeping well in the house because I stay up later than a chicken. She didn't eat much, though, and had lots of food supplements with her meds later that morning. Next Friday morning was better. She got up shortly after the others and ate a bit of mush. She had fewer supplements and finished that last of her meds. This morning, Saturday, she ate even more mush than Betty, almost as much as the young egg-laying hens. She seems back to normal now. I did, unfortunately, yesterday find red mites in the new coop. All concentrated in and on the wooden perches, especially on the spot where which Wilma sleeps, like she had been through enough lately. So I removed the perches and intend to replace them with metal or plastic. I still have the old perches that have treated them with mite poison. I, of course, killed every mite of them. Lots of babies among them. I killed more babies than Israel that day. Topical. Well, maybe not that many. Ouch. I originally thought they had made an exodus across the aviary to the new coop after realising they were going to starve in the old one. But it's possible that mite eggs were among Wilma's feathers, and while she was too injured to bathe, they gestated and hatched. The hens got sprayed with mite poison, and they'll be having another poison bath this weekend as a precaution once I change out the bedding in the coop as another precaution. There are no signs of any more mites, but they're good at hiding, so doing it anyway. Question, though. If you think they came from Wilma's feathers, does that mean that you have mites in the house? Maybe that's what we'll talk about next. As for the other hens, Mabel has been using the feeder very confidently for the last couple of weeks or so. Doesn't seem scared of it anymore, just gets nervous of other hens when they join her. The other hens aren't bullying her off of it as much anymore, at least not when I'm looking. Doris had 2 days off egg laying in a row, which is worrying me. Last time this happened, it was because of salpingitis and early onset egg bind. Though the scary situation is less likely this time, as Doris has been pacing herself much better with days off, and so shouldn't have overdone it. It might just be she lays less now. Wilma needs a post-op checkup at the vet next week. If Doris's egg laying is still worrying by then, she's coming to the vet too and going back on the hormones. As for Betty, not much to say other than she is visibly pleased to have her best friend Wilma back with her full time. The two of them have been hanging out with each other a lot. And thus ends the chicken update.
When I read that, because I got that some of that in an email, I read it, and as I was reading it, my eyes started to tear up a little bit because I thought it was gonna end a lot differently than it did, and I was like, no. Like trying not to like full on cry, and then when I read the rest of it, I was like, yay, yay! I was very happy. We love Wilma. Like I said, I'm a little bit biased because she is my favorite.
But yes, thank you for the lengthy update, Stream Wiper. I would appreciate it if the future updates would be less dramatic and slightly shorter, just to save my voice, because I can already feel it going.
We'd like them to be more. So if you could get more chickens, and no, I'm not even joking.
Tell those chickens to just lay off it for a while.
Don't listen to
just chill out, chickens. Just be healthy. Have fun pecking at stuff. Don't get mites. Don't get diseases.
No, don't listen to
Don't lure any rats into the garden. Come on.
Get more chickens, and then we could do a podcast on Wednesdays.
We're going to end up having to do a spin-off podcast like the chicken update.
Because I love the chicken updates.
Right, anyway. Next comment is from King of Mad Cows, so from one farmyard animal to another. That's a joke. I think he's got an excellent name there.
I love cows.
Who is the question, and why does he go through everyone's trash? That's an excellent question. I think we established earlier that the answer to who is the question is no. And he goes through the trash to find out people's secrets.
Shazam!
I don't know why you said that. That's Captain Marvel.
I just saw a Shazam hoodie.
Oh, okay. Next, we have Doc Widener, who is actually competing with Big Mikey P for World's Longest Comment. So let's see how this goes.
You stop talking about my friends. You stop talking about them like that.
So Doc Widener says, "Thank goodness you're here." I should try doing it with like the Yorkshire accent, but yeah, no. Anyway, flood mitigation is mostly done. They had some issues with the power washing equipment and the power in the house, so they are supposed to be coming tomorrow to finish that. Had a nice trip to Louisiana. Sent pictures. The missus got us on this small swamp tour. Spent a lot of time driving her parents and occasionally other extended family around Lafayette, Louisiana. Somewhere in the picture is a shot of a Barbie at a Tabasco museum. Oh yes, Mary was saying she wants that.
Yeah.
Of the interesting stories to tell to keep this shorter. Let's see how that worked out. We will discuss our trip home. I don't fly much. I'm not afraid of flying, just not something I need or want to do. Daniel was supposed to come with us, but because of the poultry judging contest being after the state fair, it conflicted with the early part of the trip. If his grandparents weren't 90 and 81, I would have just let him stay home. However, his window of having memories, especially travel memories with them, is closing. We went to head back Wednesday morning, and they can't scan him in. Turns out that since he didn't fly down, they cancelled his return ticket. His flight down with his uncle was a one-way ticket. Had I known, I would have had the return done at that time. Fine, we have to buy him a ticket. Okay, they can sell me a $400 ticket from Lafayette to Dallas, but the flight from Dallas to Columbus is oversold, so they can't guarantee he could get on the flight because he would be fifth in line. So I bought the ticket to Dallas and found a flight from Dallas to Columbus. That's almost $700 for the two of us.
Good Lord.
I grabbed the latest departure, which is 5:30 p.m., which was a good thing. American flies out of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Southwest uses live field, so we get to Dallas. 3 golf flight carts later, we get the missus and her parents to their new gate for their connecting flight. Honest, I could have grabbed a wheelchair and transferred them one at a time faster. Anyhow, they're at their gate. They will get on the plane, get off, and Sergey will meet them. They are hungry, so I go get sandwiches. Now, Daniel and I have our side quest and a little over 2 hours to get to our flight. Took the monorail from Concourse C to Concourse A, exited the concourse on the ground floor, and made our way to the DART station, Dallas Area Rapid Transit. Similar to the metro in DC, we started with the rail system. All I saw of it was above ground. Unlike any other metro-like system I was on, even though I bought a ticket, there was nowhere to scan the ticket to get to the station or on the train. Apparently they have folks that will check the tickets randomly. In the 9 stops we were on the train, no check. At the station, caught a bus to Love Field. It was free, no ticket scanning for that. For some reason, my trusted traveller number did not get put on our tickets, so no TSA recheck. Took off belt, but it didn't like my jeans, which are blue, button and zipper. That is where the scanner had issues. I used to have to get paid to be touched that way. Yeah. Made it to the gate about 20 minutes before boarding. I'm not sure if you've ever flown Southwest, but they don't assign seats. It is coming, but not yet, so they do have categories of customers. So people that pay extra are in A group. Pay a little and B and then C. So we were C for this flight, and even though the tickets were brought together, I was C24 and he was C46, so we boarded separately. By the time we got on, all that was left near the front was the middle, so I grabbed the seat, and then he was able to get the seat behind me. So we got to Chicago, we were able to get out quickly. Made it to the gate for Columbus, went back and got him a slice of pizza. He got it done just before boarding started. We were Group B, and again, I was 30 numbers ahead of him. This time I grabbed a middle seat in an empty row, just past the wing seats. I hoped that would discourage other folks until he got that worked. So he got a window seat. Oh, so okay, I get it. So you're basically saying it did work. Your strategy paid off. He got a window seat, so those night photos are Daniel and are of what he could see of Chicago. Got to Columbus, had told Sergey the arrival time and told him to hang out at the cell lot, but when I looked at my phone, he was still at home about 30 minutes away. He had been too busy chatting with Grandma and Mom to notice, and he'd left. He said, He also did leave for their flight as early as I wanted and did not park in short-term parking and met them at baggage. He did a lot of watching the farm and our place and dealing with the mitigation folks. That story would double the length of an already long post that has been written before one word of your video has been played, but I thought the travel story was a little more entertaining. Had to force stop YouTube. No audio, all good. It's just funny because Mary quickly mentions hearing us. I hope you don't need to explain the changes for as long as you have been explaining the Absolute comics before each video, though I do agree for that it makes sense to do it for a while. And I should add, it isn't deal-breaking, more funny at this point. Well, there was one time where I didn't include the explanation for, the Absolute universe being created by Darkseid, and literally the first comment I got on that video was, wait a minute, is this the main universe or is it a different one? So I'm like, oh, all right, fine. I'm trying to phase it out, though. I agree with you, though. Because, it's been a year now. Come on, people.
That was me. I'm kidding. No, I'll tell you something about me and traveling. Okay, Siri, that's fine. I am one of those people that I don't get nervous to travel. I get there's a phrase for it. I don't like being late. I don't even like being a second late. So to me, if I'm late, I'm only half an hour early. I've been like that my entire life. So the first time I got on a plane, I went from Midwest City all the way down to Dallas Fort Worth. I was kind of pissed off a little bit because I was only 5 hours early. And it was my first international flight and all of this. So, also, I love a window seat because if I'm going to go down, I'm going to watch it. Like, that was so loud. But yeah, I am not a nervous traveler, but I like being super early. Also, when did domestic flights get so expensive?
Mm-hmm.
Because I originally, um, this was back in 2009, the summer of 2009, I was going to go from Will Rogers to Dallas, and my ticket would have only been $96, and that was tax included and everything. So, planes are expensive. Great, I love planes, but expensive.
I'm going to continue the comment.
Go for it.
Doc continues by saying, love Jeffrey Combs. I first saw him in the Reanimator movies of my high school years and beyond. He was way on in Deep Space Nine, though he has played a number of characters across Trek since then. His knockoff Doctor Strange movie is interesting, perhaps more so than the MST3K version. And he was the obsessed FBI agent in The Frighteners, if you ever saw that. I did see that once upon a time. I remember the poster for it was like a white sheet with like a skull coming through it, or a head coming through it, or something like that. Denny O'Neil was in some ways the Bruce Timm of comics. He did a lot of the same stripping away and finding key core elements of characters, but he also had his opinions on social issues, and it comes through, especially in Green Lantern, Green Arrow series from the 70s, some of the most interesting Bronze Age comics using mainline superheroes. I felt like the JLU version of The Question was influenced by characters like Fox Mulder and Dale Cooper. Conspiracy theories in pop culture really came into prominence after the Cold War leading into Y2K. Conspiracies have been around a lot longer than that, but they kind of ebb and flow in the mainstream. Is the first episode of Flipside after the change is going to be extra long because you basically need to read the comments from 2 weeks ago, last week, and this week before you get all caught up? No, as you can tell by now, we're just reading on from the last episode. Enjoyed the ending of Resident Alien, even though it was sad to see it go. Need to get to Wednesday. Alien Earth has been surprisingly good, and I know Peacemaker Season 2 is coming, and we haven't watched that yet, Mary.
Which one?
Peacemaker.
We also haven't watched the new Wednesday because I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah. Or Agatha all along, I know. Got a long list. So I started with my brunch, but we had stuff today that I won't detail long enough. So I started with blueberry pancakes and sausage. It ended with a cheeseburger, chips, and some grapes, and posting this as I go to bed. Oh, and you need to find the Popeyes short She Sick Sailors and marvel at how IP used to be shared. Saw it for the first time yesterday at the Cartoon Capers at the Ohio. Well, there we go. I'll add that to the list for things to look up.
Popeyes.
Yeah, Popeye. Hang on, where is it? I just scrolled past it. She sick. So she hyphen sick. Sailors.
I'm doing this
She's
one
put it up on
finger.
her phone. Yep. Cool. Real time Google searching from Mary there. Right. So Mary left a comment saying, "Dearest Luke, I have chicken news in my email," but we already addressed that, Mary. Unbelievable. The next comment is from RJ Productions, who says, "I used to think that the question was a descendant of Slender Man because of the lack of face. Lol." I think, Harry, you've lost perspective of time. The question was invented in the 60s, and Slender Man is, I don't actually remember when Slender Man was invented, but I can remember a time when there was no such thing as Slender Man. Just saying, things existed before the internet, like Steve Ditko. Anyway.
Clendigno.
Shandid
Clendigno.
Yeah, I know.
Did I do it?
No.
Oh.
Close enough. Screen Wiper will tell me I'm not saying the no part enough, well enough, but, I'm doing the best I can. I'm sorry. 2009, Mary's Google search says Slender Man was invented, so, the question predates him by about, 43 years, something like that. Anyway, Lowell Lucas Jr., he's left us a comment, and he says, "New today is Totally Schway, making your way with a question of day. Aglets are diabolical, this I say." This is true. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new era of Schway. May Luke and Mary get some extra time to relax while dedicating another week to what we've got to say. To you both, I thank you, and my eyes do too. Now on to our question, or shall I say, our Jeffrey. Jeffrey Combs is quite the odd fellow. I still remember him from Reanimator, but he's oozed his way into playing the Rat King in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 series, to even playing Ratchet in Transformers Prime. For all his roles in voice acting, he always has a way of words of sounding authoritative, or weaving a narrative that makes you pay attention. This and more is why he's such a perfect pick for the question. Not only does he make us laugh with his sly comments of, "Oh please, I rummage through everyone's garbage," to the almighty Aglets having a diabolical purpose that only he knows. No wonder Batman recommended him, despite being a little odd. Though honestly, I gotta side with Supergirl. Ew, on him and Huntress being a thing. But then again, you like blondes with green skin, so who could really judge a question? Lol.
Can I say
why are Aglets sinister?
Yeah. Allegedly. This is just a DC thing. This isn't the real thing. Apparently, it's supposed to take away from something else, like something.
Aglets are a form of mass subconscious manipulation designed to keep people from questioning authority. Well, there we go.
And that's the DC universe.
Yes.
But it's actually just...
Can I just read that? He suggests that the small binding nature of Aglets is a subtle way to condition people to accept being bound and controlled and to resist breaking away from established systems or norms. Well, there we go.
So the real purpose of them is just put a lace from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next, Ryan Jones has left another comment. Do you know what? We're under an hour.
What are we at?
We're just coming up to an hour. I'll read it quickly. So this is my comment from the Superman and Lois episode. Oh, Ryan, you've made me go back on what I said to Doc. I said we weren't going to read the comments from that time, but all right, fine. I've started, so I'll finish. In the words of the late Magnus Magnusson. This is my comment from the Superman and Lois episode of Totally Schway Flip Side. Love that John Cena squeezed Tweety Bird in the Wile E. Coyote and Acme pictures at this year's Comic-Con. Finally, Tweety is getting what he deserved. I hate him with all my heart. He is a pretty privileged prick, and Sylvester is the real hero in the cartoons and deserves to eat him. I'm glad that Herbie was not voiced by a celebrity, because I don't think they would enhance the movie, especially Ricky Gervais, because his voice sounds like a pretentious Brit, and for what I hear about him, he desperately wants to tell offensive jokes without them being funny. Fun fact or not fun fact, when I look him up, because I heard that he made a comment on the Will Smith slap, but unfortunately I find that he was on Russell Brand's channel and the thumbnail said, "Don't get me started on woke celebrities." So hey, if he is friends with you-know-what and a hypocrite on his preaching on celebrities at the Golden Globes because he doesn't believe in what he says. Yes. Thank you for your comment, Ryan. Next we have Jonathan Tifone. I'm going to say Tifone. Apologies if I got that wrong, Jonathan. Confronting Luther, the best question moment. I agree. That was such a really powerful moment because the question was always kind of. I mean, he wasn't portrayed as a joke per se, but he was kind of absurd, wasn't he, with his conspiracy theories. And just him casually saying to Lex Luthor, you know, I'm not going to let Superman kill you. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you just you think to yourself, how could it have been more perfect?
Mm-hmm.
Because of all people that would say that, you would never think it would have been the question. If you out of all of the you know the Justice League Unlimited characters that there are, and if somebody asked you before you watched it, they're like, there's going to be this line of dialogue between this character and Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think it's going to be? You
They'd-
don't really think, and then when it happens, it's like, of course it's going to be the question. Who else would it be?
Mm-hmm. But that was our last comment on this new Flip Side format. Yes.
I was going to swear then. I was going to say no shit. I did it anyway. I said the shit word. I apologize.
Help me, Gilgamesh.
So there was on one of the comments that I think I read it to you last night while I was because I just remembered it. Somebody said we were wholesome.
Oh, that was Harry.
Yeah. I can say that sometimes we are quite wholesome, but when I'm too hot, overstimulated, somebody looks at me, the seam in my sock is touching the bottom of my foot. My shoelaces come untied, or a weird texture in food. I become
a monster.
Have you ever seen Swamp Thing? You know how Swamp Thing looks? That's how I feel. And that's probably how I react.
I think Swamp Thing's very peaceful and kind. So,
But
no comment.
The way that they look, not the way that they actually are.
As I said, no comment.
That's a good... What he didn't do, what he didn't say was that I am a princess. All of the time. 100%.
No comment.
No, so thank you guys so much for all of your comments. I think I am going to tell you guys what the next Totally Schway is going to be about, even though I said it on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't listen to it for whatever reason, you can tell them that it's about...
how I think Terry McGinnis needs therapy.
I think most of the heroes do.
Yeah, but
it'll be interesting to talk about Terry McGinnis in particular.
Yeah. And also there's going to be some surprising things in there, like, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be surprising things. I'm going to talk about daddy issues. So I hope you guys have a really great week. We'll talk to you next week. And the week after that, we will read some comments and we will look forward to them as always. And we will be more awake then than we are now. And I'm looking at Gilgamesh, and he's doing that thing where he's asleep, but he's kind of got his teeth out, and he's just looking so cute.
Bless his little heart.
His little toe weens. Yeah.
All right, we're done.
I love you guys. Goodbye.